just a better one for Envy. So I feel like we are going to see EnVyUs pick this map up, and then the decider we're going to head on through to is going to be Cobblestone, at which point I feel like, you know, this could definitely go away Space Soldiers 2-1.
Yeah, I think I'm leaning towards your prediction as well. I think it's all going to depend on how Space Soldiers play in this map. I want to see at least how they are, at least if they're not a one-trick pony. But let's find out as we go into train here. Second map of the series, and EnVyUs just setting up for a very fast B-take. No molly for the post-plant if they do commit towards this side of the map. But they've got their utility to at least get them through down ramp. Major's going to be there. Smokes himself off already, and we have Engine on the kit and smoke as well. So they have, they have the setup for the retake anyway. But they have very aggressive CT players, which makes me think that potentially if they lose a couple of picks early on, EnVyUs could have their round. But already Major's going to start to back off. Only Calyx playing in close, and already rotations come in as they know exactly what's going down. It's all onto Calyx. He has to hit his shots. There's the first. There's the second. Calyx turns around for a third, but RPK says no. Either way, it's Happy and Six are left. Six are pushed up, but Happy's on the flank, and while he is making a lot of footsteps, he could get some damage done.
Yeah, Happy's about to find one. There's still a minute left, just running through the smoke, takes the head clean off Paz, but Major gets the situation back under control and returns us from the madness as Space Soldiers do go ahead and pick up that first round.
Very messy start, but either way, they get away with it. EnVyUs now forcing no bomb plant from that as well, due to Calyx just denying two instantly on the site, and the rest of the players are either on the flank or pushed up aggressively. So Space Soldiers now going into this round, a couple of Famases, a few UMPs, bits and bobs here and there, and EnVyUs just going for a bit of an Ivy charge. Once again, it's a fast play, it seems.
Charging on in, it's going to be Engine to go down first of all. XMS with this Tech 9 to try and open things up. Centaurus is here to reap the benefits of the UMP up close and personal. He's going to get himself 3 as he makes a load of money. The dismay of Envy. Happy left in the 1v3, does do some damage on the pass, but you got to watch out because Centaurus is hot on his heels. It's actually Major to pick it up. And that'll be Space Soldiers to go ahead and secure a second. They do lose Engine and Calyx though. So they will be rebuying up into this round. Envy this time going to have no money really to work with. Probably invest maybe in a couple of pistols on XMS, but that's going to be it for these guys. Looks like they might just opt to keep their Glocks out instead. No XMS buying the P250. Chucking one over to Scream as well. But that is it. And this gives Paz a little bit of an opportunity to try and make some money with this UMP.
Yeah, fast playing towards a drop down. Paz is going to get himself one, but trade from Six with the Glock. He gets overrun in Pop Dog, and XMS will actually pick up one as well, but still the range of these rifles and SMGs are going to be far more effective than that of the P250. That being said, lots of damage has been done by EnVyUs, but it will go nowhere. It will be the round going fairly safely to Space Soldiers. They keep 2 alive, not too much of an issue. They would preferably rather rebuy those SMGs anyway, I can imagine, on most of the players, so it will be the rebuys coming in, or potential Engine will be picking that one up, actually throwing it over to Paz, of course, and EnVyUs, they are going to be on their own buy as well, so Orbs back over to Engine. Interesting. I mean, obviously Despay's not here. I'm not sure about that, so, you know, it could be interesting to see how Engine performs with that AWP, but either way, we have Sixer on his own orb, but he's armorless.
And they're making their presence known over here towards B. Engine going to take the peek and will be punished for it with his life as XMS takes his head clean off. They grab that man advantage and now just look to fall on back, not taking the opportunity to rush in towards that B bomb site. The bomb going to be falling on back over towards a main. Look at a rejoin Scream and the gang over here. The bomb, the AWP on Engine, going to be left for the time being, not retrieved just yet. RPK still watching any potential push in from behind as now the bomb and the rest of the guys head on down over towards Ivy to try and push in over here at A. Now there's still 3 players for Space Soldiers on this A bomb site. Instead they've opted to play Major in Connector, which is going to give them a fast rotate, and this is probably the most ideal setup we could have seen for Space Soldiers in regards to the play that is about to happen. Being a man down, you'd expect this A bomb site to be a little bit bare in terms of its defenses, but if they do decide to go out A, then things will be made tricky, saying that they've actually now opted to rotate Centaurus and Major back over to B, which they are going to come to regret as now the push makes its way out towards A and already Calyx hits the deck.
Yeah, Paz trading there. Scream's going to go down, but XMS is removing his head instantly as Antares rotates in to do the damage. One for him, looking for more. He finds the second head, of course, and XMS as he goes down, but Six is still on top of the train, and Happy coming in from the back. The lurk roll playing off perfectly. Antares doing more damage, but he's not expecting the flank as Happy drops another. It's all going to be onto Major. 8 seconds left. He has to get the plant. He goes to the open plant, and Major's there to shut him down. Space Soldiers pick up the round, and a 4-0 start on the CT side. This is phenomenal for the Space Soldiers, guys. This is EnVyUs' map pick. We didn't expect this, and now with no bomb plant, EnVyUs coming in for another eco again.
Yeah, players that can't afford it are going to be buying up some armor behind these pistols, but that's really it. 3 Deegs, 2 P250s in play. Scream, Happy, and Six are naked and afraid as they don't have armor to try and deny the aim punch from these rifles. That nade already, Sixer physically ate it. He's not looking too healthy. Scream's going to get spotted and impaled by Calyx. RPK in Pop Dog, going to have his dog popped as Paz takes his body and rouse it full of bullets. It is going to be the man advantage in favor of Space Soldiers in a big way as Engine and Calyx find 2 frags. Between them, it's all on Sixer, 13 HP in a Dream. And Paz, the Dream Crusher, lays Sixer beneath the heel of his boot and crushes him down. That will be the round going the way of Space Soldiers. 5-0, a quick, clean round, which is exactly what they needed to build up the economy on their CT side.
Now here's another important buy, EnVyUs. Every round they miss out without a bomb plant, they are going to be having to go for an eco, so Space Soldiers potentially, if they play this right, could be getting up to 7 rounds just straight off the bat. But we have a fast play from Envy. They're just going to be bursting this A site. There's Paz close with the support from Xantares, but Xantares doing the damage. He takes 1. Paz follows up. Xantares on 2 right now. Paz will follow up with a secondary as well. And the only trade coming out from RBK is Happy, the lurk player from Ivy, just going to back off towards main. Completely alone. His entire team are dead, but he's going to be coming in for the sweet, sweet ADR. Moving back into that A site alone. What just happened to EnVyUs, sorry.
And Happy, Paz is watching that angle, walks in the waiting arms, and will go down. That's Space Soldiers now to pick themselves up a 6th consecutively. The pause called in, and justifiably so, as Envy can't seem to do anything right. You would expect a CT side, especially with Space Soldiers on it, to put up a formidable first half, but 6 rounds consecutively is more than I think both of us bargained for here on Train. And I mean, since moving on to the rifle rounds, the worst part is really only one of them has looked remotely close. Other than that, the other 2 have been landslide victories in favor of Space Soldiers. Now, not only is that bad in terms of looking at the future and the fact that Envy haven't had much impact with these rifles in the past, but it's also because of the economy of Space Soldiers. As a result of keeping 9 out of 10 players alive in the last 2 rounds, it's going to be booming. You can already see the Paz almost up at 10,000, Major with 7,000 in his bank, and everyone else kind of floating around the $5,000 mark. Calyx, only player who's remotely low. I mean, they're going to be fine for rounds to come. Envy, meanwhile, once again, back up against it with very little cash for the future to try and pick up their first round now.
Six are saving a little bit for the AWP. Knowing the pressure isn't on him to entry, so he can grab a gun off of one of his teammates' bodies if need be, but it's going to be Scream to run out onto the A site, just tap down Calyx instantly, and that's a great way to start things off. Some individual prowess coming in here for EnVyUs to try and get them their first round, but rotations will be called in towards B as RPK, he takes down Major, the only B player. Tantara's rotating in time to trade, but still, there's one player working his way down ramp, and that's Happy. His lurk roll here could be perfect, but they might not even need it as XMS finds Engine. Paz trades on the site once again, but we still have this flank coming out from Happy, sneaking in towards B. And as a result, Six is even going to full on rotate back down towards that other side of the map. And in fact, if anything, that makes Scream now the lurk, who's the only player alone, or soon to be alone on the site. Just sat down Olaf. Well, Happy comes in from the back. Xantares isn't going to be expecting it, and Happy gets him. There's the free kill. Now it's all onto Paz. 1v3. So separated. No trade potential right now for Envy, and that's the only thing going for Paz.
As he comes in from behind, they're not going to see the backstab coming just yet. As you said, there's not really any trade potential set up. It will be Sixer to go down, and now Paz finding himself in the 1v2. Scream's rotating in through connector. Happy just biding his time. The bomber's going to be planted perfectly for Happy to cover. Scream in position as well to try and trade this out if things do turn Ori. And
oh no.
Paz going to bypass Happy completely. Does just get shot in the back. Happy speciality as they go ahead and pick up their first rifle round on the T side. Space Soldiers with plenty of money to reinvest will be buying on down. Calyx going to have the AWP this time. Engine picking one up as well as they go for the double AWP setup on their CT side train, which is something that we've seen them do a couple of times in the past, although usually with Deathbait picking up one of those AWPs.
Yeah, this double up's going to be an interesting switch up because I don't think Team EnVyUs are going to expect this kind of buy. Look at the wall bang there from SpaceS. Great setup. We saw Guardian use that, I think, in a Pro League match before, and Zantara's going to get tagged down. Not headshot, but body shot enough to do 36 damage. Why can't I do maths apparently? Why am I doing that on stream? So now Zantara is tagged up a little bit. We're obviously not going to be knowledgeable for EnVyUs. They don't know he's tagged, but it won't make too much of a difference anyway, as the rest of them do manage to regroup and reconvene over through Ivy, walking their way downtown. And with a very passive defense, it's just Engine there with the AWP holding a tight pixel angle, waiting for someone to boost up on that dumpster so he can take a shot, drop off and keep that man advantage. But they actually jump over. I think he spotted it though.
We're going to go down to force back Engine. 3 players still at Ivy, now pushing on through. Bomb going to be in tow. Zantara is playing up close and pop. Now, we've seen him do some amazing stuff from this angle before. Here's RPK as well on that jump. The 3 players coming in for Ivy, trying to make their way out towards the site, but actually Paz caught looking the wrong way, and SpaceS, he doesn't care, gets himself 2. What are you doing? Gonna go ahead and open this up. Calyx gets caught looking completely the wrong way from Happy on the lurk, and Engine entering in as well. Gonna fall. It's all on Major in the blink of an eye. 1v4. Desperate to stay alive and keep this M4 if he can. Falling on back. It doesn't like that is the plan, as team don't really have the money to afford a buy. The main priority here is that Major just does not die. He's just going to be biding his time over here towards this B-bomb site.
That's a crazy thing though. Again, the CT economy, you can keep all those players alive. You talked about how they kept 9 rounds alive in 9 players alive in 2 rounds. They lose 2 rounds in a row now, and they're suddenly instantly onto eco. Only money saved on Major, and a little bit on Paz. The loss bonus is going to build up, but definitely not enough to commit to anything here. He should just be going for that 1 catalyst rifle while everyone else ecos. Because take into account, while they will get 2400, they don't want to dip below really 2k investing into this round. So he can drop over some pistols for his team, but that's really going to be it. Maybe some armor. Yeah, we will see some armor. But yeah, no one's going to drop below 2k. They need that $2,400 loss bonus to combine with their money to buy it next round. And that's important. So Major going to be the man to watch out for in this one. He has that M4. Everyone else on the Deagle armor. Or just the Deagle. And we are going to see EnVyUs set up already, waiting for the aggression, expecting the eco from Space Soldiers, expecting these CTs to push up, and I think they might be greeted with Zantara as he's already found his way down Ivy.
Ooh, Paz just dispatching him. Happy to kickstart this round for Space Soldiers. Does secure the man advantage, and Major's actually going to go aggressive in the meantime. Try and catch RPK off guard. Scream just executing players. Engine and Zantara both go down and return it back into a 3-on-3, but Major's actually going aggressive in through pop now to try and catch these guys off guard. It might work because RPK is here looking completely the wrong way. In comes Major. And that is now an AK dropped. The man advantage taken. The bomb having to rotate back on the back of Scream to join SpaceS. Looking like B going to be the site in question, but Major still posted up here with the M4. Does spot Scream out on the rotate, and that's going to be all the information they needed. Major's going to try and take this duel and could come to regret it, but no, that's bomb drop now. It's all on SpaceS, 1v3. Caught out in the open, moving around like a god once again, but does fall. Tries to go for the YY fakey ladder stall, but going to be punished for that one. No trick shots today. There's Envy. They are going to go ahead and forego that round. A round that they should have won, as Space Soldiers now secure a 7th.
Yeah, great round. The ecoing players managed to pick it up with only 3 bits of armor and some pistols with 1 rifle on Major. They make it work. So now Envy limited once again. It's XMS still on this Tech 9 here. SpaceS, no AWP for him. And we're talking about AWPs. Have Calyx pushing aggressively in through B Heaven. Going to be looking for that first pickup. Happy's on the other side. And Calyx not able to find a thing, as EnVyUs are just holding on for the time being. Playing this passive style on this T side that you typically see teams do early on in train, because aggression is so easy on the CT side of this map. So many positions you could push up, like Pop Dog we saw in the previous round with Paz just running in there with a Deagle, or like Major coming in on the flank on B ramp and dropping down Pop Dog. So EnVy is just holding for that exact kind of aggression, but Space Soldiers now on their buy. It's unlikely we'll be seeing a similar style. However, Calyx peeking out with the AWP, we'll be seeing that. And RPK will take him down straight away, meaning EnVyUs now have a pick and could even fake out this B-side play. They're all going to be pushing down Ivy in the meantime. But they actually may be able to draw a rotation if these nades weren't here.
Major annihilated in over towards B, but his Paz and Zentaris to go down. Scream, what are you doing with the 180 through the smoke? Engine will go down as Scream hurls shots down Rage to secure that one for Envy. They go in swinging and it pays dividends. 7-3. Space Soldiers will be buying on down what they can, but... And actually, it's going to mean XMS who opts to pick up the MAC-10, going to find himself at a bit of a disadvantage, yeah.
They've completely misread this economy. They think that Space Soldiers are now onto Eco after that one, but you got to take into account Space Soldiers won an Eco previously and kept 3 players alive. Envy have no idea what they're coming up against. It's full rifles. They're playing like it's an anti-Eco, and Zentaris, he's going to take that first kill. The thing is, Space Soldiers would be Eco if they didn't win their own save round when they actually only had Major's rifle and pistol players, so EnVyUs have completely misjudged this. And as a result, they are not going to be ready for what they're about to face.
XMS could have fallen as well. That's the Mac Daddy taken down. Paz still at large with this UMP. There's no stopping him. He gets himself a second, but he's still alive and kicking over towards Pop. And Sixer and Scream going to find themselves at 2v5. An economy misread could spell disaster here. Zentaris watching the close angle. And players have a habit for lining up for Zentaris. Not today as Scream will take his head off. And the same for Paz, but it's Engine to pounce, trade things back, and takes them both down. Space Soldiers in with an 8th. And Envy now with their economy down and out for the count.
What a mess. What a mess for Envy. So unfortunate they did not predict that. Because that has really hurt them now coming into this round. We're going to have a bit of a juggle in spawn. They eventually work out what guns they want to play with. And Envy now, as you say, economy gone. Pistols are out. Bit of armor on 2 players. That's going to be it. And they're round to lose here. Space Soldiers have a dominant CT side so far, but again, we're only on the first half and we're not even done with that yet, so it's definitely not decided. Engine posted with that AWP. We have Paz trying to come on the flank. He flicks back around, but Scream does take him down eventually. However, no weapon has been grabbed. There's Zentaris to defend that factor, and Scream looking for this headshot, going to go down again. It's only 2 players remaining here for the T side. Seems like it's just a formality at this point. Sixer alone, a Glock to his name. He could get a B-side bomb plant, as long as Major whiffs. Oh no, oh no.
Then as you speak of it, there's no nade on Major, so the bomb will go down. That's a victory in and of itself. Sixer with his Glock out, going to fall to Major as he gets taken down. And the defuse going to come on in, but Sixer does some work to bolster the economy of EnVyUs heading into this next round. Space Soldiers will pick up a 9th, and they only lose Paz in the process, which means their money is going to be starting to accrue now on the CT side. But really, because of that bomb plant, Envy going to be able to invest everything they would like to up into this. We're going to be seeing rifles almost across the board. I imagine we're going to see the AWP dropped over to Sixer, but no, instead it's just going to be rifles upon rifles and bucketfuls of utility for them to try and make this work. And actually, the investment's going to come in pretty light, instead saving some extra cash so they can afford to invest into the next, if the situation so requires it.
Very rare that you see teams do this, but it is a good idea at least. And if you don't have a nade-heavy setup, they're going to throw all their smokes over the A site, what little that they do have. But RPK is already down. Zentaris is on the site doing damage. XMS trades, but look at this hold of the rotation. Scream is there. He takes down Major. And while we still do have a flanking player in the form of Engine, Scream's not going to be expecting a second one, I can very much doubt. As he just sits there holding onto the pop dog. The bomb needs to be taken to the site though, and Scream's going to move out. That will force Engine to drop. He's going to come in for the kill. Scream's low, but it doesn't matter. He finds a headshot, and out of nowhere, EnVyUs close out the round. They all pick up kills, and Scream and XMS was so low, but it still doesn't matter. They take the frags, and EnVyUs 4 rounds to 9 out of absolutely nowhere. It seemed like the perfect setup for Space Soldiers, but it falls apart.
Yeah, at one point in time, this was a 6-0 in favor of Space Soldiers, so Envy doing a good job to pull this one back. Still have some work to do, but they are fast approaching a fairly even scoreline on this map. And now 3 players early on over here towards this B-bomb site. Major looking like he wants to try and take the peak aggressive, but Sixter's posted up to counteract this exact play. And Major does make the right call. Instead, holds his ground. Waiting for any peaks to come through. Should be able to find something with the AWP. As an opener, you can see Paz waiting once again in pop. Oh, Scream crossing the barrage of bullets because he likes a challenge. No other reason other than that. Going to walk once again back out into the stream, but no, this time isn't going to be found. They're still stacked up outside of B. A lot of pressure on Major to connect this first shot. There's no one else who can rotate on by, and saying that, Zantara is now going to be joining Major in the B bomb site. Paz can be hot on their heels out through Pop Dog. There's still a minute left.
Plenty of time here. EnVyUs are in no rush, but I think at this point, Space Soldiers seem to be fairly aware of what's going on. The smokes will go through, Zantares will throw a molly and counter, and XMS is going to run right into the flames. Burns to a crisp, Zantares shoots him in the face, and now these players are just running over this B site. Major drops another one with the AWP, and Zantares will follow up as well with that M4 from default. The screen gets dropped, the aggression from Happy's found himself in the connector, and Calix has no idea. He goes down, but eventually gets dropped. And Zantares will clean up the third on the site as well. It's Space Soldiers to pick up 10 rounds, and while EnVyUs were approaching a better scoreline, that's going to completely throw a spanner in the works for the last round of the half.
Yeah, they're going to have their economy reset for the most part. I mean, two of the players can't afford to buy. They will just be on pistol armor. We could see UMP bought up for 6, but it's much more likely that he might just, going to invest the pistol so he can get the extra utility. And I mean, Happy actually had some money left over. He could have dropped the pistol to one of these players to facilitate a little bit more utility on them, but instead it's just aggression over towards B. Calix takes the peak and pays for it with his life. XMS out through Pop Dog. What's going on? What's happening in this round? It's all on Engine. 1v5 spotted out over towards A. Does at least dispatch of XMS, but he's still got a lot of work left to do if he wants to clutch this out. 1v4. Happy's gone hunting. Spied out on the site. Engine tagged down to 1 HP at RPK, waiting on the corner to try and pick this up. Engine doesn't need no scope, gets himself a third. He's doing some serious work, but it's Scream to stab him in the back. Envy pick up a 5th round against overwhelming odds on the back of raw aggression and aim.
Just charging. Could have done that a lot earlier, I think. Really catches the Space Soldiers guys off guard. But either way, I think that's a pretty decent half. A 10-5 is a scoreline you usually expect when coming to train. 9-6 as well. But either way, yeah, Space Soldiers performing far better than I expected coming into EnVyUs' best map. Now, we've got to have a look at how they perform on the T-side. That could be the crux of their problems. If they don't have a good T-side, this is where it all falls apart. They need their setups. They need, preferably the pistol to give them that boost. But again, it's going to be more so on the pressure of EnVyUs to pick up that first round, because if Space Soldiers take the pistol, they'll be up to what you imagine to be 13 without too much of an issue.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, Envy now being on the CT side, it's their strongest side by a mile on this map. Now, that's also just because of how the map kind of naturally favors the CT side, but Envy are a team that have shown time and time again that even if they have a lackluster T-side performance, they can still make up for it, even more so moving into that second half on the CT side. So, curious to see if they do manage to pick things up. The pistol going to be worth its weight in gold. If Space Soldiers do pick it up, it can propel them potentially to a 13-5 scoreline, and at that point, they only need to win out 3 more rifle rounds in order to take this map and therefore the series. If EnVyUs get it, they're going to be knocking on the door of Space Soldiers, coming up right behind them at an 8-10 scoreline. And at that point, it becomes a much more even game.
Definitely so, but Space Soldiers clearly have a plan in their books. Majors on the utility, we have armor on everyone else. Default buy from EnVyUs with just 1 kit and a smoke on XMS. And these players are setting up very early on towards B. Major going to be throwing in his flash just to allow them to cross over through ramp. Saving his smoke potentially for this B play. Yeah, ramp going to go down. Flash as well to follow. They will just be bursting out with the bomb as well. And Engine actually finding an opener onto the A side as well. Taking down Scream. That's a good way to kick off the round. Although it is on the wrong side of the map, it depletes the amount of opposition that they have to deal with, as they still haven't committed this bomb down through B. They're just trying to force rotations. But right now, look at the reaction from EnVyUs. A probe down Ivy, setting up for the retake on A. Well, typically not the most common strategy done. It's still going to be a bit of a surprise, because I doubt Space Soldiers will expect it.
Well, XMS got a full 6 going on this lengthy flank. It's Happy over in connector as well. The man trying to make a difference, but SpaceS spots out the first, turns it into a 2-on-3. The man advantage being whittled away. They spot Happy, make his way out of the sight, and Major going to go the distance and behead him. It all falls onto SpaceS. 1 versus 3 jumping around, and this man's movement is impeccable. Going to go ahead and pick up a second, but still more work to do, and Zantares going to do him the duty of taking his head off as Space Soldiers pick up the pistol, now poised to try and take this 13-5 over EnVyUs.
What is this? Space Soldiers are looking like they may even close out this map in this series in 2 maps. Not what we expected coming into this one. If Space Soldiers was going to take it, I would assume 3 would have to be needed, but apparently not. However, again, EnVyUs is still yet to go on their buy round. Let's allow Space Soldiers to get their 13th, and then we will see what EnVyUs are made of coming into their best map. See what their setups can show. But Space Soldiers, a fast burst play onto the A site. There's only a few players in defence. Rotations come in connector in the form of Happy, and XMS and Scream. They're going to have to be met full frontal with the defence here. SpaceS opening things up. Scream going to spray away, but falls down. XMS as well going to the floor, as we see already. Space Soldiers have found the entry, so barely any loss. SpaceS again striking. He's been on fire so far this map, and he's going to land himself a second of the round, but still, it's a done deal. Space Soldiers had themselves the round. It's Antares to put the nail in the coffin to take down Happy and leave SpaceS all on his own.
And SpaceS just walking out of the constant stream of bullets, his existential crisis growing too much to bear, and decides a 7-6-2 round is the easiest way to go. It will be Space Soldiers to find that 12th. SpaceS, with so much money, he can get the AWP into the next round with armor behind it on the back of those frags early on. It will be Space Soldiers now, though, to pick themselves up a 13th, or at least you would hope, up against the full eco side of EnVy.
This is the kind of round that you end up losing, though, of course. But not when Zantares is on your team, of course. He just runs out onto A and bursts the first 2 players. Quick kills here for the Turkish side. And I can't imagine too much will come through with just these USPs. Scream is close. He doesn't... no one checks him. He gets nothing done, but Happy does too. Good damage. That'll be it. Gets shut down. Space Soldiers 13 rounds. And now we just see the reinvestment from EnVy. They're 1 chance back into the map. This huge upset. And whether you think Space Soldiers was going to take the victory in this series, when I say upset, I mean more so this map. This is EnVyUs' map pick.
No, that's very true. And this round here is so important. If EnVy don't pick up the first rifle, you know, that's bad enough on a good day. But for them right now, it would mean Space Soldiers could very easily reach match point. Those nades already early on going to be doing a boatload of damage to try and keep these Turks at bay, but Zantares, there's no stopping him, makes his way out of the sight, gets himself 2. He's just tapping on heads left and right, wishing these players a swift good night. And while SpaceS trying to do all he can over towards Ivy to keep these guys at bay, chimes in with 1 with the AWP, and a second. SpaceS turning this around as he picks up 2. He's been a force to be reckoned with. Major up close with the UMP, does do the damage and takes him down, but now being rallied in the back, finally going to fall. And it will mean EnVy go ahead and pick up that first rifle around. The AWP going to be picked up as well and chucked over to SpaceS, who has been so incredibly key for EnVyUs to succeed. They are still in this, very much so, and Space Soldiers being able to buy down once more. Their economy now put on the brink as a result.
Confidence on Zantares, though, you can just see. He's rushing out onto sites, getting headshots left and right, not having an issue with that. It's his team that aren't able to pick up the pieces sometimes. And that round, I mean, that should have been Space Soldiers with the first 2 picks going his way. However, they've got plenty more opportunities. They've got so much of a buffer to fall back on. And setting up for what looks like a bit of a fast B play, there is going to be a pick again for Zantares for the trade. That's a best player already gone for the team, and Happy going to follow up onto Calix. Now it's starting to look more difficult for Space Soldiers. They may even have to eco after this one if they don't pick up this round. Engine going to be faced with a wrapping Happy coming round the back. He takes him down. Only 2 remaining here for the T side, and they're getting flanked from all ends. XMS on the back lines going down, and Paz picks up Happy on the site. Finally, the stake in the grass is gone, but still 2 very low HP players, and the bomb left in the open in the view of SpaceS.
And this play from Screamy, things could get steamy real quick as he comes in from behind. Major's going to go down. Now it's all on Paz. 3 HP and a dream. He's going to take the aggression to try and deal with SpaceS first. Isolate him into a one-on-one engagement. He knows that SpaceS is over towards here somewhere. And being tagged so low, it should be a shot that Paz can land. Does the damage. He's only on 1 HP. Just trying to stay alive. But Paz does shut him down. It falls onto Scream. 1v1. Paz on 3 HP. A bucket full of dreams, an AWP in hand. And he's skipping merrily in towards the B-bomb site. The bomb out in the open. He has no idea that Scream's flanked all the way back over towards A, because why would he? He thinks that he spotted the bomb. But as he clears all the angles in the site, there's only 20 seconds left. He's going to pick the bomb up and now go for the plant, leaving Scream in the 1v1 after plant. Plenty of time to get into a position. Plenty of time to get towards up as where you can use that Molotov that he does still have on his kit. But instead he's going to take the aggression.
Coming in through the connector is going to be Scream. Paz pushed up so close. I think he knows exactly where he is. He can hear the footsteps. He needs to hear the rap as well. Scream not making it obvious exactly where he's committing. Paz is finally going to hear him. Coming in from behind, he does it. He gets the clutch. 1v2 on 3 HP. And Space Soldiers, they're going to actually pick up the round 14-6. And that's horrible on Envy. That's a reset. Right after the trio of Pistol and Anti-Eco, they lose the first buy and then they come back in with the second. That's almost worse than winning the first buy, because now Envy have even less money to work with. The loss bonus is gone.
Here's the real problem, right? If they lose this on a very weak buy, they're going to have nothing to invest into the next round. Even less than what we see them with here. So as the push looks like it's going to be coming in over towards B, you're going to be relying on one of these players with the UMPs or with the 5.7 to step up in a big way. 6 are on the D, the high-powered hand cannon to try and dispatch of some of these Space Soldiers players. But he's all the way over towards A. Right now, 4 players for Space Soldiers centered over towards this B bomb site off the bat. But they're still looking curious, really evaluating their options. They know how close this is. They don't want to be caught rushing into a site with no information against 4 sport players.
I'm not sure what Envy can even do to get back into this one. It's looking so difficult for them now. The Space Soldiers convene back towards A main, looking to potentially make this last round split. Actually going to back off, grab the bomb, move in towards Ivy instead, go for a different avenue of approach. But it is looking like this late round A split, especially with the position of the bomb, but not only that, but also the position of Paz. Easy to drop down in through Pop Dog. Can still commit towards B, but maybe just throwing these fake smokes out to try and force a rotation, get EnVyUs focused towards this side of the map, and that could be a good way to draw players over. 30 seconds left now, they need to commit somewhere. They're actually going to be going for the B play. The issue is they have no information. While it is the right call to make considering the setup, this is very late, and a late B play could really come back and haunt them, because if RPK drops the bomb in ramp, they could fall apart. But here we go, they push on in, RPK's there, he has to get the first, but Xantares takes him down, and now Space Soldiers, they have the B site.
Yeah, 4 and 4 going to ensue. Sixer does get himself an AK. The flank going to be coming on in from Scream with that UMP, and he can make all the difference. Going to go ahead and take 2. He turns the tide of battle single-handedly, looking for the third, but Paz does shut him down. Engine with a UMP of his own, looking for the second as well, but raining death from above. It's going to be Happy. 1 versus 1. A bomb time is ticking away. Paz already pushed on out, and Happy has no idea. He's looking completely the wrong way. Pat's going to go ahead and decapitate him, and that is Happy going down as Space Soldiers to arrive at match and series point. And EnVyUs with no money to invest into the last round. They will be forced buying down what they can. It's going to consist of a boatload of UMPs, couple of pistols here and there, and some utilities spread thinly across the team. It's do or die right now for EnVyUs.
Yeah, nothing to play with again. It's the same buy they have from the previous round, so Space Soldiers should be well equipped to deal with this one, but let's see if we see some individual prowess. That's all we need from EnVyUs. One player to step up, one player to get that 3k, and suddenly it's a completely different story. But again, easier said than done with the weaponry provided to them. As we see RPK, instant aggression, ready to push up through this ramp, or at least waiting for Space Soldiers to maybe burst in through the smoke, but it's Paz to open things up with the AWP, catches that Scream in the open. XMS is still close to try and trade. The rotations are instantly just going to be pulled on in. They have no B control. They know this is going to be an A play. And XMS needs to go big. He does. This is the individual prowess we talked about, but Paz still trades him out. He only gets 2 for his name, putting it back into a 3-on-3 as Space Soldiers convene over this A site. Major finding himself another pick, and it's all going to be on now Happy as RPK is wall-banged out from Paz. A UMP on top of the train, but Paz says no, and that's it. Space Soldiers